Good evening and welcome back to the Fate of Drakkenheim. This is the Dungeon Dudes weekly D&D 5e actual play campaign. My name is Monty Martin, running our game as Dungeon Master.
And I'm Kelly McLaughlin, playing Wilhelm von Kessel, the human swashbuckler rogue. And we're joined today by our good friends.
Jill Denitis, playing Rudy Whitaker, the Shifter Eldritch Knight.
And Joe O'Gorman, playing Wrath, the Aasimar Warlock.
Thank you for joining us once again. If you are just tuning in for the very first time, welcome. We are the Dungeon Dudes, and Kelly and I post videos every other Tuesday and every Thursday, where we cover everything TTRPGs, including advice for players and guides for game masters.
You can also join us on Tuesday evenings when we broadcast the campaign on Twitch. You can check us out from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/dungeon_dudes. You can also watch the video episodes of the show on YouTube on Fridays and check us out as an audio-only podcast as well.
And if you enjoy the adventures in the world of Drakkenheim and want to check them out for yourself, make sure you head on over to Drakkenheim.com, where you can order your own copy of Dungeons of Drakkenheim based on the events of our first livestream campaign, full level 1 to 13 campaign that you can run to decide the fate of Drakkenheim for yourself. Or you can pre-order Sebastian Crow's Guide to Drakkenheim, our next book, which is going to be, which we brought to Kickstarter last year, which features the new Apothecary class and new subclasses for all the 5e core classes. Check that out at Drakkenheim.com. But in the meantime, let us return to the world of Drakkenheim.
Drakkenheim is no more. The devastation which fell upon that accursed place left a kingdom in ruin. Now, horrors lurking in the haze grow ever more great and terrible, while simmering tensions between rival factions boil over into outright war. The power of monarchs, mages, and priests hangs in the balance. 6 unlikely heroes join forces to confront the coming chaos. They shall decide, once and for all, the fate of Drakkenheim.
Welcome back. When last we left our heroes, we had been spending time following the adventures of Veo, Sebastian, and Peludo as our heroes awaited the meetings of Wilhelm von Kessel and Ursula von Syndau in the city of Geldstadt. And thus it is time for us now to see what went on meanwhile. So whilst Sebastian, Veo, and Peludo were off on their adventures seeking out the artist Perrin, Wilhelm has been in the midst of an important meeting with the Duchess of Geldstadt, Ursula von Syndau. Since arriving, it has been a flurry of activity at the palace of Castle Syndau, for you in particular. Having had the opportunity to all have a fine bath and being shown to palatial bedrooms that you can stay in, as well as being kept under very close guard while you've been here. Rudy, in particular, you have had the opportunity to be very vigilant about the entire affair, and the organization has, of the whole thing, has determined that essentially that Rudy and Wrath, in many respects, your responsibility now is to be watching out for Wilhelm for threats, both magical, martial, and mischievous. For there is palpable concern that there will be more attacks on Wilhelm's life since the incidents that occurred in Drakkenheim only a few weeks ago.
Who knows what kind of trouble's going to come up following us around as you're making your way through.
I'm still waiting for that lead that we sent Blackjack Mel off for to come back with any information. But like I said, I don't trust him, and I'd be surprised at this point if he ever showed up with info.
I've just taken the money and run.
Well, that's what I suspected from the start.
Do not worry. I am keen on other senses I will detect if anything is trying to murder you, and I will stop them
That is appreciated.
for a price.
What? How much?
Your undying loyalty.
My friend, you've had that since our first adventure together.
Then the bargain is complete.
All right.
It was prepaid.
Glad we didn't realize that you paid up front for that.
Bruce makes eye contact with you and nods.
And licks his lips a little bit. Yeah. Yes, Bruce. We have another.
Sorry, what?
I apologize.
For?
Bringing up the terms of our arrangement. So,
It's not so much a raid. Wrath, something that you need to understand is this is just how friendship works. But we'll get you there.
friendship? I do not understand. What do you get out of this?
Your loyalty.
Yes, I won't let anyone kill you.
Yes.
But if you once try to backstab me,
Why would I try to backstab you, Wrath? You're literally protecting me. We have been through so much together. We trudged through swamps. We stabbed a large fish. Many things. And
The Hydra.
the Hydra that almost ate me, you saved me that day. You saved me so many times, and I may have saved you as well, I hope, a few times.
I guess I am just on high alert. The gravity of the assassination attempt upon you when Rudy and I were not there put in perspective how much you need us. And I think we'll be doing our best to stick by you more so than we have in the past.
I agree. That was a moment that concerned me, especially not being there to be able to be by your side and protect you. And who knows what groups are planning what out there.
Thank God there was a cat present. The only creature that could have protected you.
And I mean,
Successfully.
that they were also part of the the guard, you know, that they were willing to put their lives down.
Veo did an incredible job, and I can't commend her enough for those efforts. And really, it was her and Pluto that kept me alive. And I am still concerned about these exploding assassin creatures that attacked me with delirium hearts. It's, I'm worried that we haven't seen the last of them. As for the negotiations with Ursula, how are those going?
Well, as you contemplate those upcoming negotiations, you also have had the opportunity to reflect on your own skills. I understand you've all leveled up as well, so why don't we just take this moment to summarize what Rudy, Wilhelm, and Wrath have gained with their most recent experience gains.
So Rudy had another ability score improvement or feat. So we took Resilient, which upped her wisdom score, gave her a bump, and got proficiency in wisdom as well. So much needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wilhelm now has blind sense, so as long as I'm able to hear, I'm aware of the location of any hidden or invisible creature within 10 feet of me. So even with one eye, I'm still capable of being alert to all presences sneaking up on me.
And I, the Great Wrath, have accumulated more knowledge from Bruce, teaching me the ability to cast Finger of Death once per long rest, creating more subservient those who will serve Bruce in his quest. I've also gained the ability to create a thrall, an interesting ability for the Great Old One, Warlock Pact, which allows me to charm an incapacitated humanoid.
That's going to be awesome. Can't see that getting us in trouble.
No, I think Wrath is going to use it for good. I think he's going to use it only for things that are... That's my prediction, but we'll see.
Is that for good as in he'll use it on somebody for good?
Yes.
So there'll be the thrall for good.
I think he'll use it for good.
Yes, we will use this.
The greater good.
The greater good.
The
The good. All will kneel for the good.
Yes, that's our quest.
He's also gained the ability through an eldritch invocation to speak with the dead, because they usually have something great to say.
Interesting. I wonder where that will go. Well, as you prepare yourselves for this evening, and with your meeting with the Duchess, you are then escorted with your guard to the Duchess's dining chamber. And a fanfare announces your arrival of musicians that are placed in the dining chamber to play some light dinner music to go along with the feasting and the negotiations. The staff opens the double doors to the Ursula von Sindow's dining chamber, and the Duchess herself is present, and she rises and gracefully bows as you enter the long chamber. A extraordinarily long dining table has been set out in this room that has 4 fireplaces, and great tall windows that allow the light to reflect off of the chandeliers that hang over top and the great candelabras that are placed all across the table. There is a beautiful silk runner that runs along the table, and the finest silverware has been laid out across the entire table. At maximum capacity, this table could probably sit 50 or 60 people. And this room could have a grand feast. And certainly enough food has been brought out to feed that many people, although placings have only been given for a few individuals such as yourselves. And the seating has been arranged that Wilhelm will sit at the head of the table, as befits his station, opposite the Duchess Ursula von Sindow, and the staff brings on silver trays immaculate food, and of course each item is carefully offered to Rudy first before it is given to Wilhelm.
I taste everything that comes before me and hand it to you.
Did you just take a bite out of this chicken leg?
Just to make sure it's not poison.
But now it has a bite out of it.
Well, it's not like we haven't shared food at my house before.
Do you wish to eat somewhat eaten chicken breast or die?
I will eat the somewhat eaten chicken. Oh, all right.
I take a nibble out of the bottom. You can still turn it over and it looks just fine.
Ursula von Sindow herself is a gregarious and voluptuous woman. Not very tall, and rather wide, but perhaps in her late 50s or 60s. She wears clothing that is absolutely dripping with jewelry. And she has quite a painted face. It is well done, but there's a lot of makeup that is improving her appearance. And she's almost certainly wearing a wig with a large sort of netted hairpiece that is up almost like a beehive sort of style. And her sequin dress sort of glitters, reflecting off all the light of the chandeliers and the candles and that comes in as the sun is setting. And as you take your seat, she says, "My dear Wilhelm von Kessel, a toast to your long reign."
Thank you.
I take his wine first and I'm like, you're good.
Thank you for the hospitality.
It is wonderful that you are here. I am so glad that you have finally paid me and my family a visit, and I hope that you will avail yourself of all of the luxuries that Geldstadt has to offer you.
It's such a beautiful place. I've visited a few times in my day, but it's been a while, and I'm very happy to be visiting again now. The views on the streets and the buildings, all incredible. You must be very proud of what you do here.
Yes, things are lovely here. I want to express my deep condolences for what happened to your father. He was a good friend and a wonderful man.
Thank you.
I have no doubt that you will live up to his legacy.
It's, I try to live by the same code that he did, and I try to live up to the expectations that he laid before me before he passed away.
And tell me about your loyal companions.
Well, this is Rudy Whitaker. She is not only a great warrior from the war, she fought for my father, but also she was the one who took me in when I was escaping my...
And where are you from?
I'm from the forest, little town called Tearhaven.
Oh, Tearhaven. Who's in charge there?
Me?
Oh
I
my.
was the sheriff there, so, little town. We don't necessarily have proper lord or lady there, but, kind folks.
The Duchess turns for a moment to Berthold, her steward, and says, "Is that one of part of all?" And he's like, "Yes." Ah, well then, as your Duchess, welcome. You are in good company.
Thank you, ma'am.
and this is Raph. He was the stationed Academy Mage in Tearhaven as well, and so he has been aiding us ever since the beginning of our journey to solve the mysteries of Delirium.
Lovely. You must know that House von Sindau is very good friends with the Amethyst Academy. Both my brother Augustus and my son Oswald are Academy mages.
Oh. Do I know them?
No.
I don't know them.
Oh, what a shame. You'll have to Oswald, he's here. He is our court mage, but of course he is still my son. And you should meet him.
If I have time, my appointment to the king, future king, this man is of utmost importance. But if there is terms for fraternizing, then I will open that door. Sure.
Good job.
You're doing it.
I'm talking to people. I'm an academy mage.
And I am so pleased, once again, that you have come to visit. And I would simply like to state for myself that you have the full support of House von Sindau and the resources of Geldstadt that I can offer.
Thank you so much. If there's anything that we can do to strengthen the relationship between the Von Kessels and the Sindaus, please don't hesitate to ask. But it means a lot to me that our companionship can continue. You were very kind to my father, and I appreciate your kindness towards me now.
There are a few things
Of course.
that we may discuss. She pauses for a moment, and you can see that she's carefully considering her next words. I have two concerns, my king. I must confess to you that the coffers of Geldstadt are running low. The folk who used to prospect for gold on the banks of the Glitterwash now risk their lives in the ruined city instead. The market has demanded delirium, not gold. This is a problem, but one that I hope will change with time. But I wish for you to be aware that the wealth of Geldstadt is not what it used to be. I also have questions for you.
Of course.
I know you wish to do what's right, and you should. I hope that you act with a consideration for the future of this great realm in what you do. Think one step ahead. Your enemies certainly do. In fixing our present crisis, I urge you to consider the future problems your solutions might create.
Such as?
This is where it becomes personal. I want you to know that I remain your staunch ally and friend as I was to your father. We were close, and it broke my heart what happened. If you have any doubt of my family's loyalty to House von Kessel and to your line, I wish that you keep 3 names in mind: Adelina, Heidi, and Klaus. Those were the 3 of my children that gave their lives in service to your father during the Civil War. My only surviving son is Oswald, and my grandson, Oswald's son, Arnold, turns 13 this year. Because my son is mageborn, he cannot inherit the titles of House von Sindau, nor can my grandson. Thus, when I die, it will fall to you to decide who will inherit the realm of Geldstadt.
Do you have anybody in mind that you would like to put in as a possible successor?
My grandson Arnold is not mageborn. He is Oswald's son. He's 13. He hasn't been taken by the Academy. He cannot have the household name because he is a mageborn's child. But he is the heir to this house. Can you do anything?
I'm sure we could figure something out. I would say that immediately you should do what you can to train the boy in politics and, such things that I missed the chance to learn about after my father passed away. But if you begin him on the path of being a figurehead in Geldstadt, somebody who people look up to and can rely on, then by the time it comes to that, it would make sense for me to place him.
There are, I know, at least a dozen other nobles in Westermar, not dukes, not high nobles, but of the mid-range, that face the same dilemma. You may want to consider carefully how to win their hearts and allegiances.
Indeed.
Beyond that, I have little else to ask of you. I'm having a little small trouble right now with some bandits, but it's nothing to concern the king with. I'm certain that I can resolve it.
Bandits?
Yes.
Troublemakers.
Yes, several mercenaries that were fought have all turned, as many of them have, to, well, banditry, because I couldn't afford to pay them anymore. They've taken up a fort on the edge, and I've tried. It's nothing to concern yourself with. It's just a very, very wanton figure has been causing me no end of grief.
Ursula, if it's concerning you, I would like to remind you that although I stand here before you as a potential king, that I have spent the last almost a decade being the second hand to sheriff in a small town where our job, and as we left that town to pursue the delirium path that we have followed that has led us here, our job was to dispatch wrongdoers and help the small communities. And I could go on to say that bandits are our speciality.
Oh my. It seems such a trifle of a matter to concern such talented and royal individuals such as yourselves with this minor problem of mine. I would be embarrassed.
Listen, justice is never a trifling matter. Right, boys?
If this town is safer because of our actions, you have to... If I become king, then the safety of your community is the safety of Westamar.
I would appreciate that. If you'd like, in the morning, I can provide you with more of the details, and perhaps you can dispatch some of your best to help us out with this.
I certainly will.
Beyond that, how can I be of service to you?
Well, you've given me your support. I just need to know that in the coming months, you'll lend your voice to the support for the Von Kessels. You'll give us access to what troops you have if needed, and that we can all stand together to do what's right in the coming months to bring Westamar together and to rid our nation of the curse of delirium.
I can assure you that, well, in the short term, I can... Bertold, how many? And Bertold says, a few hundred in a few weeks, a few thousand in a few months.
We have 8 to 10 weeks. Our timeline is short.
There are 2 other things that I might be able to suggest to you.
Yes.
First, have you visited your cousin?
Which cousin?
Oh, right. Well, I think we're cousins in some way, shape, or form. But I mean Sophia von Sneestrom. Helig.
Not yet.
The Northerners have the finest troops.
Well, they are on the list, but we can make it a priority to get there. Are you aware of her opinion of the Von Kessel name, or whether she still would hold allegiance, or do you have any advice if I'm to travel to Helig?
Well, she is... I would imagine that she would still have a connection, for she is your mother's sister's daughter.
Yes.
I would just recommend speaking with her as soon as possible. She certainly has some of the finest troops that Westamar has to offer, and her allegiance would be key.
I will see to it that our direction heads towards Helig, then.
There is one other matter that I would suggest to you, but I do so with caution.
Speak openly. We're friends.
Are you familiar with the story of Vladimir von Draken?
Well, I know a bit about it. I've read books growing up. My father talked about it. I was educated in the history of our nation, so if you want to tell me any information about that, yes, I am well versed in the history of our nation, but I'm not sure about these two.
Westamar was founded by Vladimir von Draken, who turned what was several independent kingdoms into one mighty nation. He ruled very strongly, to put it the least of it, for several decades before his daughter led a rebellion against him and ended his reign. Nevertheless, Vladimir von Draken unified our kingdom. There's a story that goes that he was not buried under Castle Draken, but rather elsewhere in the wilderness, not far from Drakkenheim, but in an undisclosed location, along with his sword, the King Killer.
Yes.
You are a good man, Wilhelm. But a good king needs both wisdom and might. And a symbol like that might be a potent one.
Now, the location of this burial is unknown to us, or do we have any leads? There are some crypts and burial locations in the woods surrounding Kesselholm.
It's been lost. I know little of it. But if you were to seek it out, it might be worthwhile.
I mean, the King Killer was a legendary blade, very historical. More than anything, its name is known in Westamar as that of a ruler, that of a leader, whether good or evil, but a leader nonetheless.
I guess it's also something to be considered if someone else finds it and they come after you. That's not really a great image if someone else holds the King Killer sword.
I mean,
It might kill you.
that would be a deep concern. To get killed by the King Killer would be another history book entry that would be less good.
It'd make us look really bad, too.
Yeah, all of us. I would be dead.
That is the best advice, though, that I can offer you, is sometimes symbols are powerful things. Believe me, appearances matter.
Yes, they made me change my armor and cloak because apparently looking like regular folk was not good. So I understand that.
I also think that's some wise advice, Madam Sindao, because, as we go through and we meet the other dukes and duchesses of Westamar, appearances are gonna maybe make or break some of the alliances we're gonna have.
Yes, before you told us you were poor, it appeared you were very rich from all the food that's out here.
There is a difference between being able to run the household versus fund an army. That is the trouble.
So we don't know where the King Killer is or where Von Draken is buried.
It may just be a rumor, but it might be one worth following up on.
Do you know of anybody, any historian or sage, possibly in this town or another town, who might have an idea or a lead or know anything?
As storytellers, maybe. Where can we find them?
Well, if there are no records, of course, in Castle Draken itself, there may be records with some of the others. I do wonder if your cousin Sophia might have access to any information in their libraries, or perhaps in Altbrook.
I will ask around in the towns that we come across and see if anybody knows any rumors. Because even a rumor would be a lead. Right now we have nothing to go on, but...
Or perhaps your friends at the Academy might be able to offer you some resources to that effect.
We can ask my sister, River, and Eldrick. They might agree that this sword would be a appropriate weapon, iconic, and powerful. This would all aid in your quest to take the throne.
And there are those in the Academy who have lived long enough that perhaps they are even aware of the rule of Von Draken. There's some elves in there that have lived for a while.
Well, what about the druids we came across too?
The druids could
Around
also
that
be.
area, they might have some knowledge of something that mighty can't go unseen for.
There has to be stories or rumors or tall tales of where they buried.
Or a blade that mighty must have some sort of aura or energy that attracts something.
You're right, Wrath. Just use your magic and find the blade. It has magic powers. You have magic powers. You two must be able to connect.
Magic can find magic, right? Is that a thing?
I may need to rest on that idea.
You've recently claimed that you're much more powerful. Can't you just find magic sword? Cast find magic sword.
Okay, I think I know where it is. It's
Excellent.
in the woods.
Very well.
Woods. There's several types of woods.
On our next adventure, Wrath will lead us.
I think I can confidently lead us to the whereabouts of this sword. I will find its location, and I will put it in your hands, and then you will owe me.
A debt of gratitude, yes.
Yes, a debt.
Bruce nods.
Excellent.
Well, let us enjoy our supper, and in the morning I will have Bertolt give you the details of my little bandit problem.
Thank you very much for all the information and the hospitality, the delicious meal, and your support.
Your Majesty, I am glad that you came to visit me. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy all that House von Sindau has to offer you over your stay here.
Thank you. Perhaps when we send out our best to deal with the bandits, should we ask Sebastian, Vale, and Pluto?
I thought we were the best. I thought that's what you were implying. We were the best.
It is worth considering delegation in some aspects. You want to go?
I mean,
Could be fun.
could be fun. It's been a while since we've beaten up some bad guys.
I mean, I feel like we need to go just make sure if we're going to go into these long battles ahead of us that we're keeping spry, keeping up to date on, our skills and keep practicing. Because, if you get too flabby eating all this fancy food, what good is it going to do us when we got a big battle ahead?
You're right, I need to stay in shape. We should go jogging.
Jogging, and if we happen to see bandits...
Jogging and punching.
They said they haven't been paid for some time.
Bandits?
Do you think that they, yes, these former mercenaries turned bandits due to back pay, missing funds? There may be some delirium smuggling going on as well. I can only assume that if this Gold Coast, this primary source of income for their people, has dried up, and most are dabbling in the delirium, maybe these mercenaries are too.
It's a thought. I mean, we could use it as an opportunity to potentially get even more people on our side for fighting, add them to our current group, and if they're willing to be paid, but I mean, we could write their direction in life as a bonus.
If the statement is out there that the new king of Westamar stopped the petty bandits in Geldstead and helped the community, then that'll just ensure that the people here are proud to have me as king.
We know about the events of the cathedral, right? Yes. The cathedral, what was the name of the group that we believe is connected to the cathedral? Jill with the notes?
The
the conscientious
yes.
guilds.
Guild of Conscientious Practice and Scientific Discovery.
Who came
at
up with
Altbrook
that?
University.
So they are based in,
Altbrook,
and we are in.
Geldstad.
Maybe
We're a little ways away.
maybe we can see if these bandits know about any delirium smuggling.
They might have some information on the ground. Right, Wrath? That's
Yes.
a good idea.
No harm asking.
And if nothing, but they will be servants that will serve me for eons beyond their demise.
Sorry?
Yes, bring them on as part of our team, Wrath.
Yes.
Maybe not for eons. I mean, nobody lives that long.
Their bodies will decay, but their souls will be persistent.
Perhaps we could talk them into joining the Steel Fangs.
Steel
Is that what you were getting at?
No.
Oh.
Live forever in spirit.
In
and
honor of yes, the great deeds that they will go on to do. I like the way you think, Wrath.
None of this is true.
Well, let's eat.
Yeah, constantly taking a bite and then handing it back to you as you eat.
Rudy wants to know if this is poisoned. That is why she continues to eat the king's meal.
It's just customary. I don't know. I just gotta make sure you don't die.
The Duchess points at her meals and points to one of her servants who is her taster as well.
It's a thing, Wrath.
Is this what we do now?
I eat his food, yes. He's like a baby bird. I don't know.
It is but one way to be sure.
Bruce eats mine, I understand. It makes sense. But I do not believe he is testing for anything.
They're capable enemies.
He's asserting dominance.
Rule number 95, never trust a drink you didn't pour. It's one of the rules. You never know if somebody's poisoned a drink. That being said,
Does that mean I have to like bite every grape?
No, probably not that far, but yeah. But just as a taster, it would be just verify and see. Right.
Should cut your grapes in half anyways, because it's...
Yeah, it's a choking hazard.
I mean, there are spells that do detect poison and whatnot,
Oh, I
but
need those.
This is much more thorough.
Wrath, can you learn to detect poison or...
I
teach
choose
me?
not to.
Oh, okay. All right.
There is one way to detect poison. Wilhelm, there is... I understand that she provides your loyalty. I'm gonna wait till we're gone.
okay.
We're done. We've eaten.
Sure. The rest of the meal passes rather uneventfully, with just polite conversation about your adventures and minor political matters that Ursula von Sydow brings up, discussing just her opinion of certain other nobles and making her own suggestions over who you might consider appointing to minor offices and other places of power.
Wrath, you taking notes?
No.
you are.
Mentally. Maybe a few.
Yep. Okay. I'm like taking notes on a piece of paper, just being like, just so we remember. There's a lot of
remember.
names I don't know, haven't heard.
I have a flawless memory.
For the most part, many of her suggestions include lesser barons and counts who would be useful as sort of mid-level military and logistics people, like people that would be able to help you organize military forces and just get the structure of the government working again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Makes sense.
And so we pass the evening with boring political chatter.
Yes.
And good food.
And good.
And excellent food.
Yeah.
In the morning, the Berthold, the Duchess's steward, arrives to you, Rudy, to bring the details of this matter that was discussed during supper. And he says, "My apologies. The Duchess does not wish to burden the king with such a petty thing, but I did feel that it was worthwhile giving you the information that was needed to decide if this is worth the king's time or not."
course. I mean, any information you can provide is going to help us make important decisions.
There's a band that has taken over Fort Brask. It's a small village and a tower, a few miles northwest of Geldstadt. It's only been a problem because their leader is a very experienced and well-known individual. It goes by this call sign, Black Coffee.
Black coffee?
Yes. Do you know that name?
Well, I know a lot of people with call signs.
I think that they were part of some mercenary group that was very experienced, but I don't know much about them. They were quite disgruntled.
The person or the group?
The person. They weren't working with the group that they used to be with had a very irregular name. I can't quite recall it. But they apparently they'd fought for Wilhelm's father, and we'd hired them to shore things up and, well, went south.
Well, that does pique my interest. I am very interested to meet this leader of this group, if that's the call sign you're telling me. Do you have any more information about how many numbers there are?
Couple dozen, from what I understand. Just very, very organized. That's why we've been a little bit more concerned about security as well around the palace, because they're a little bit more than highway robbers and ruffians. Their modus operandi has been they have ridden out to smaller villages and basically robbed the entire town. Plundered it, taken everything. Almost like sea raiders, but on the land. Knocked over several travelers and raided several of the old gold mines as well.
Well, that makes a difference because, I mean, like you said, if gold's meant to be coming in, it's a source of income, but I can imagine if something like that was happening in my hometown, I'd want someone to help take care of it.
It should be a minor matter. The Duchess is rather embarrassed that this would fall under the attention of the king. But if you can help, it would be appreciated. The Duchess is smart and savvy, but when it comes to matters of military, not necessarily the most experienced.
We'll definitely see what can be done. And can I ask, this leader, Black Coffee, they have anything to do with the Ochtenwald irregulars?
That was it. That was the name of the group.
Well, I can say that you've come to the right people because I, too, was part of that group.
Oh my. I'm terribly sorry.
I mean, we were trouble back then, but,
Do you know this Black Coffee?
you know, there was quite a few of us, but yeah, I've seen that troublemaker around a few times, and I think it's best, if anything, that I go and handle it myself.
Very well. Very well, then.
All right. I'll let the others know what we're dealing with, and I think we'll get some people together and go deal.
Okay.
Boys, I got some interesting news coming from this band of thieves.
Are you just walking into my room like I'm just waking up and you're like standing there?
I just like throb.
I've been here the whole night.
Get up.
Thank you for watching over me, Raph. It was creepy the few times I opened my eye in the middle of the night and you were just standing at the foot of my bed.
What's even creepier is Bruce.
They were just watching you to make sure no one was gonna,
I told
kill you
you,
in your sleep.
I am ever vigilant. No one will kill you.
What were you mumbling in your sleep?
Nothing.
Well, thank you anyway. So
It was an arcane lullaby.
Burst in, and I'm kind of, you could tell I'm a little bit agitated, like, but not in a bad. I'm like, oh my goodness, something's happened. Boys, got some news. Okay, these bandits, my past is coming up a little bit in this. The leader is one of my old colleagues from the Octonwall regulars.
Old work friends.
Yeah, interesting. This particular one is a bit of a firecracker. His name is Black Coffee, or actually more well known as Bale Dennery. And if he's with this group, we might be going in with a little bit of caution.
Well, if they're an old colleague of yours, what was your relationship like with them? You were the leader of the group, so...
I was, it's true. And they were always a little bit of a troublemaker, a little bit of a... one that would go in with a bit too much enthusiasm for the things we were doing, even if they didn't quite go in a good way. Demolitions expert, really the person who, especially when we're thinking about the Toddsville and the dam.
Right.
They were more than happy to do that. Again, wanted to fight for your father, wanted to do the things, but they were just a very free spirit in that sense. Always had a little bit of a want to drive the team in a certain direction, and their name is Black Coffee. They always had a little bit of powder over them from
the explosive powder.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how they got their call sign.
Do you have any reservations about apprehending this mercenary?
Well, that's the thing. I think having him on our side might be a really good thing.
Do you trust them?
I trust them to do their job well, but I trust us to be able to make the decisions and point them in the right direction.
Well, two things that we have in our favor. One, their former leader is with us, that's you. And two, the son of the king that they once fought for is also here. And three, Wrath, I suppose, is here for some reason.
I will break him.
There you go.
I mean, yes, I was their former leader, but they didn't always agree on my perspective on things. So I hope we can bring them on to stop doing this, but I will say it's probably not going to be easy.
With this in mind, I have a request that's probably going to make this a little harder. As usual, if you know me by now, you know that if we are going in to apprehend these bandits, we're not dealing with delirium monsters. We're not dealing with mind-controlled creatures. We hope, if it comes to that, we know how to handle it. But otherwise, I don't want us slaughtering all these mercenaries. We want to keep them alive, unless it's you or them. In that case, we'll do what we have to do, but...
Still use non-lethal force. Wrath.
Force? Yes.
So...
I believe it is possible to change their minds to agree with us.
I
Like
do too.
literally change their minds or like convince them?
Both. And if under threat of death, they cannot continue to operate in this manner. I know he is a former colleague of yours, but he seems to take what he wants from the villagers and the surrounding area. We do need to continue to gain favor with the Countess. He is at odds with her, and especially since, Wilhelm, I hope you understand, you cannot appoint this grandson into any sort of figurehead.
Why not?
The Academy.
They're not mageborn.
I was getting the suspicion that they are, and that she is hiding it from the Academy.
Oh.
Yes?
Give me an insight check.
I didn't even...
I didn't think of that.
10.
That's your own hunch?
That's my
It's your own hunch. I can't give you any more for more.
I believe that she is keeping this from the academy. This is a teenager, a young man that has untapped magical abilities. Rudy, like your grandchildren, he needs to be trained. A place amongst nobles is not a place for a wizard. Now, I do not know if I can keep this from River and Eldrick.
I guess the question is, do they actually have abilities, or is it just that the laws state that if they are born to a mage that they cannot?
Perhaps this requires further investigation after we deal with black coffee.
The edicts are pretty clear about it. Once you're mageborn, even if you're it breaks the line of succession at that point. So if you are made by the edicts, basically say that the children of mageborn, even if they don't manifest, are taken out of the line of succession.
So I believe it is better to gain favor in other ways.
Well,
And this could be the way, but you cannot follow through on this promise openly without us knowing. Mageborn that do not receive training are very dangerous individuals. We've encountered those like them.
Even if he's not mageborn, it could be an issue.
It would also look really bad if you intend to repair the relationship between Westamar and Illyria.
well noted. Thank you, Wrath. I will take this all into consideration, and we should investigate further and look into this matter.
So, speaking of this black coffee, we need to immediately stop him from continuing this. It also has a direct impact on the Countess's financial prospects. She is our ally, but if she is a weak ally, she is not a very good ally. We don't need the hundreds, we need the thousands, and we only have weeks.
But she said thousands in few months. Well, we have months, don't we?
We have
4.
We had
4
3 months before travel. All I am saying is that if she is fighting wars at home, she cannot aid us.
Then let's deal with these bandits.
See if we can talk some sense into their leader and see if we can round them over to our side.
Get your swords ready, or axe, or
I just never had a sword.
Get your glove. What do you use? What do you cast?
It's a book.
I draw the energy that surrounds you, the stuff you cannot see, which is a lot.
Grab your picture book and let's be off.
It's really important to me. By the way, you're all written. Your names are currently written in. Write your name in my book.
What does that do again? 0 hit points?
0 hit points. You stand up. I can have 5 names in it.
How often does it reset?
Once per long rest.
Okay.
So our 3 names.
Our 3 names, and then we have 2 more room. I've always had your name in it.
Well, thank you.
Because that's important.
Do you
And
have to
your
be
name.
within a certain range?
No.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So in our team of 6, who's the one name that you leave out?
I don't know.
Pluto would be fine.
Pluto's fine.
I mean, technically, Sebastian already has his own ability.
Yeah, if you remember.
Sebastian will be fine.
Sebastian will be fine.
That's interesting. So you're saying you want to write other characters' names in the book?
They have to write it themselves,
Yeah.
but it's good to know what the 5 names are at any given time.
Yeah.
So I guess everyone but Sebastian.
Okay.
Because Sebastian's fine.
Yeah, he hasn't died yet.
Yeah.
The three of you set out from Sindow Castle towards Fort Brask, where Black Coffee and his assembled bandits have reportedly taken root. It's a few hours travel north of Geldstadt, following along the roads that stretch alongside the Glitterwash River. Coming off onto the back roads, away from the main roads, you can immediately pass several places that you can tell have been affected by these marauders. One village is a smoking ruin. The embers have long since died down, but the signs of them being burned to the ground and perhaps even exploded. And still that last lingering whiff of burning in the air as you pass through this unnamed and forgotten village on your way to where Fort Brask lies. As you arrive in the late afternoon with the sun waning in the sky, you smell in the air that sort of noxious scent of black powder not far in the air. And nestled not far from the Glitterwash River, at what perhaps might have been a village that started as a gold panning camp. You can see all around near the river, there's the remnants of the systems that would bring water up from the river so that the gold panners could easily kind of shuffle out what bits and flecks of gold they could find from the river that are set up. And there's several now dilapidated buildings that are all surrounding a ramshackle watchtower that provides a clear view of the surrounding lands, which have some tree cover. You can imagine as you see the tower in the distance, Wilhelm, you immediately know to begin approaching with caution, because the watchtower is positioned with a vantage point that it could easily see anyone approaching. You recognize this quite quickly, and scanning the area, there's not a lot of cover between the river and what remains of the village and this camp. But there's enough over the crest of the hill that you can lay flat and sort of just scan to see what's there without necessarily getting too close. It's far enough that you can make out the buildings that are there, and that some ramshackle defenses have been erected around the buildings, and very large piles of barrels stacked neatly throughout, with red paint slapped across them in X's. But from here, the most notable thing that you can make out is that there are 3 larger hulking figures, ogres, that are moving cargo about the area.
What time of day is it?
It is late afternoon now.
We don't have many options for approach that aren't going to reveal our position. Although, from what you've told me about Black Coffee, if push comes to shove, so to speak, we just need to light any of those barrels, and that'll cause quite a distraction or a scene and possibly take care of some problems for us.
Of course, but I guess the idea is that we don't want to blow up anyone while we're here. We're trying to get them on our side.
We don't. I'm just saying that if we need to escape because our lives are on the line, that could be...
Are you sure that this Black Coffee would be... I know they are a former ally of yours. But do your ideals still align? When was the last time you saw this person?
It's been many years. I don't know what they've been through since the war, and really, the Octomodel regulars, they went their separate ways after that. I know what I knew back then, but who knows what life's brought their way since then.
Rule number 1, always have a plan of attack. Rule number 2, always know your way out. Our way out, we might need to blow up a barrel. Rule number 3 is never underestimate your foe. And rule number 4 is know your strengths and your enemy's
Okay, you're just gonna
weaknesses.
list off all
No, I'm just saying those first 4 rules. I was done, Wrath. What do we know about... What were their weaknesses? What did they rely on their teammates most for?
I mean, they're good at causing a big fuss, but subtlety was not their strength. I would say, if anything, knowing that there was someone who could outsmart him and outgun him was a sign that they'd give you respect.
From our vantage point, the barrels that are slapped with red paint, are there any at the base of the tower that I can make out?
Give me a perception check.
That is going to be a 15.
There are. Looking carefully, there are also very clearly cables or fuses that are strewn about in a very deliberate pattern.
Think there's traps set here? It'd be silly not to fortify if this is their base.
If their traps are explosives, though, then they're in the blast radius as much as we would be, so maybe approaching and threatening to set off their own traps puts us all in an interesting position. Rule number 24, if you think it's a trap, it probably is.
I mean, I can probably set off any of those traps from approximately 150 feet away. So,
The
120? 150.
something to consider is that this black coffee, he is this way because of financial reasons.
Exactly.
What do we have to offer?
Steady income.
We do. We pay our troops. We're trying to get the Octomald regulars back together.
Yeah, this is just the start of getting them back together, I think. We're gonna have to offer something. They're not just gonna come of their own will, especially if they're already struggling.
Yeah. I think we should have some kind of meaningful purse to offer. Otherwise, we may have to resort to horrible violence.
And I mean, one thing that might pique their interest is, we are going to Toddsville. And the irregulars do have a bit of history there. I'm not saying we're going to go and cause a ruckus, but...
Offering black coffee vengeance could go some ways. I wouldn't expect to leave this without somewhat of a fight, whether that be an argument, a show of strength, or some other means, but should we start with diplomacy?
I think it's the first shot, and then, well, if all breaks loose, then...
We can attempt to sneak up, or we can walk up.
The problem is that the tower is positioned very much in a way that sneaking up is difficult. I myself might be able to, if attention is diverted to Rudy or you, Wrath, I can use the houses as potential cover and approach from a different angle to try to get a clear shot in case something goes horribly wrong. Or, if need be, a warning shot to show that we have them in a position.
I don't mind being in the, not a distraction, but the first wave through and seeing how they react.
Wrath, how are you for stealth?
I usually rely on people not thinking I'm there because I'm someone else. So I could disguise myself as Wilhelm.
Well, we already have a Wilhelm Wrath.
But he's hiding.
Or could you be any one of these? Do we see any of them kind of come out of camp, and you could knock them out, and you could take on one of the personas?
The hard part there is, if asked any questions, will Wrath know the answers?
I know all.
Okay. Second question, why do you have one of the...
What do I have one of them?
The real question is, with Rudy, what do you think? Do we go in there by force and take what we need? We know that the Countess has dealt with this problem for some time. And do we ask them to kneel to Wilhelm and the Countess or be destroyed? Or do we appeal? Do we negotiate and ask them to join us with an offering?
I say going strong. You know, Black Coffee is not the kind of person who's gonna see an appeal as strength. And if anything, you gotta show them you're stronger than them if they're gonna bow down to any king.
Wrath, I think that you could go in as me if you want to position the strength of the king, and I'll get into a advantageous position to back you two up if needed.
And I'll say position, just so that we keep saying position.
Do we have a word or a signal that we should get you to come in?
Help.
All right, we'll be very direct about it.
Yeah, that seems very appropriate if we need your help.
I'll try not to use that word
Casually.
in conversation.
Good.
Urgency as well as the word.
Yeah, what's another... Wilhelm, you have what...
Long
Help?
live the
Really?
king. We could do long live the king.
Yeah. Long live
That's
the
a lot of words, but sure, if it pleases you two, then by all means.
All right.
That means, come on in. The water's hot. We're in hot water. I disguise myself as Wilhelm.
I veer off to the left.
All right.
I'm gonna say, come here, Wilhelm.
Yes?
Not you.
Oh,
You're gone.
Wrath,
Keep
Wilhelm.
running. Yes.
would you like
The
the...
illusion is complete.
Wilhelm, then give me a stealth check.
That's going to be a 30.
Okay. Wilhelm is well hidden in the tall grasses. As Rudy and Wrath, disguised as Wilhelm, approach the camp openly.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Not seconds after you poke your heads up over the hill where you've been observing, you hear the whistle of a crossbow bolt land right at your toes. And you hear someone call out, "That was a warning shot! Don't come any closer!"
I step on the crossbolt and say, "I'd like to speak to Black Coffee."
The voice calls back, "Who's asking?"
The Red Huntsman's asking.
There is a pause. "Hold still. You make one more move, all of us are gonna shoot." And you see now the figures that are on the tower. And as more plainly, there's a general commotion that you see of a few people running about, and a singular figure with bright red wings and the head of a hawk leaps off the tower with a crossbow and takes to the air and flies overhead. And you can see them very clearly scanning the area around. They fly over.
They have a helicopter.
Very carefully, and as they fly over, you can see not only do they have the crossbow, but there's a bandolier of bombs that they're carrying as well. And as you look out, there's several others similarly armed with crossbows or bows, but also carrying sticks of dynamite, other explosives as well, and all set around and trained on you. The group here is very diverse. There is one who's there is a lizard folk, a few tabaxi. There are half dragons and tieflings, ogres, half elves, or half orcs, a few dwarves and halflings, and a mix of humans. It's very ragtag sort of mishmash of all different peoples, deserters, and bandits, all granted, but quite the mix. The winged figure flies back to the tower, and another voice calls back a moment later, "Come forward."
Then I nod at you, Wrath, and I kind of put myself slightly ahead of you, just to make sure that I'm kind of protecting your front there. And we'll walk forward into where we're going here, through the trees.
Yep. So the two of you enter the camp.
I'm not there, I'm just somewhere.
And as you walk forward, the Aarakocra flies back out and continues circling around as you walk forward. And the others with their crossbows keep them trained on the pair of you as you enter into the camp. So as you step into the camp, you get a better count. There's maybe about 20 people here, all said. And all throughout are the several buildings that compose what was the village, but is now a camp. Around the tower, there is one kind of intact house and several others that are in almost complete states of destruction, but nevertheless, impromptu bivouacs have been constructed in a few where there's sleeping bags and cots set up and stacks of these barrels, ostensibly filled with various kinds of explosives and weaponry. There is enough equipment here that this ragtag band is certainly capable, Rudy, of a lot more destruction than your typical bandits with the equipment that they have here. And you can see that individually, well, they don't have much for armor, or even much in the way of melee weaponry. Almost all of them are carrying crossbows, bows, and a few of them as well are armed with rifles. And the rest of them carry, and almost all of them carry handheld explosives of some kind. And as you walk forward, both of you can give me a perception check.
10.
17.
Okay. Rudy, you can't piece this out, but Wrath, what you notice is that there are neat lines of fuses that are strewn across the ground, connecting each building and each kind of dump of explosives. The lines of fuses run parallel to one another, as if someone has rigged up this entire thing that they could selectively detonate different parts of the area as they needed to.
Interesting. I'm going to telepathically let just sort of motion to Rudy. Rudy, you just hear in your mind the traps are set. They appear to be willing to lose everything. Just look at your feet.
And I look down.
As you look down, Rudy, you see the other lines of explosives. And you can give me one more perception check.
7.
The lines are moving in all sorts of directions. It's hard to follow where they're all going.
I notice there are lines beneath me. Hopefully they don't mean anything.
My name is Wilhelm von Kessel.
I'm way back. There's a flying dude. I'm under the grass.
Wrath, let me introduce you.
Oh.
As the two of you enter the camp, coming up from the top of the tower and leaning over the railing is a short, scrawny, half-elven man wearing plate. He is covered in soot and powder that mars what would otherwise be very fair hair and skin. And he has a bit of a scraggled sort of goatee. And even though he is starting to show the effect, like, you recognize black powder, Bale Dennery is 10 years older from when you saw him last, but there's still that sort of unhinged fire in his eyes. And as he steps out onto the balcony and places his hands on the railing, you can see that that the plate armor that he's wearing, he has several pull pins all across it, like that are all attached to the front of him, and he's got a huge backpack on his back. And he's wearing these thick, heavy leather gloves and has a pair of goggles that he has not put down yet himself. And beside him is some kind of wicked-looking blunderbuss.
I shout up to him. Bale! You're looking just about as singed as you did the day I last saw you.
Rudy, you're looking fair for an old grandma. What brings you to my neck of the woods?
Well, me and my companion here.
King Wilhelm. Hi. Hello there.
Well, we happen to be around town. Heard there was a band of ruffians, and I kind of take a look around, causing some trouble for the nearby villages. Of course, you know me. I'm all about making sure trouble stays to a minimum.
Yeah, you always were about keeping trouble to a minimum. I've got my own crew now, Rudy. You're not the boss here. So, if you know what's good for you, you know, we have history. I don't need to break your grandkids' hearts. So, you can just leave this scrawny little king here and walk away, and we'll call it a deal.
Well, my grandbabies will be doing just fine because if they knew anything about you, they know you never been able to beat me in battle.
Rudy, I know that fighting you is suicide. But I've always been willing to take a couple risks. You want to fight? I'm sorry, but you don't have one. You got nothing. Everybody here's got... No one's going to go toe-to-toe with you here. We're not that stupid. The moment you bring that axe out, there's going to be more bolts in you than you can block with any tricks that you got up your sleeve. And you got any more than that? Well, blow you to kingdom come after that.
Well, I can see you've got some interesting firepower around you. And you know what? As much as I'm good in a fight, I didn't come here to fight. I wanted to see if you'd be reasonable to talking to me and my companion here about what you've been up to.
Yeah, sure.
We have heard... We have heard there are bandits, but I just see mercenaries. I am King Wilhelm, and I ask that you throw away your days of thievery and join me on a quest to fulfill the throne.
Is this some kind of joke?
I mean, he often jests, but no, he is not.
Rule number 48. I do not know what a joke is.
Rudy, is this really Wilhelm von Kessel?
He seems to be, doesn't he?
I come to you not as a man, but as a thought, a dream of building a better Westamar. And the trouble that you cause for the Countess, I understand that these are hard times. But I can offer you money and work, honorable work, the work that you used to do for my father.
One of the mercenaries speaks up and says, "You speak in our language, boss. All right, how much?"
I mean, I guess that's negotiable, but, you know what? You're right. You've sniffed something out here. You think I'm dumb enough to bring the real king of Westamar in with me?
I am the king.
No, I don't. That's why I know that this isn't him.
All right.
I was so believable.
You know what, though? What he says is true. We do have the king of Westamar wanting to make a deal with you.
The king is in my pocket. He is but a servant to my ever needs, and I portray his message loud and clear. Join us. Cast away this rebellious attitude and fight for Westamar. Fight for something that is honorable. Do not waste your time pillaging the villages that are your townsfolk, your kin. We can make a better world.
The Aarakocra speaks up and says, "Actually, the king of Westamar is about 100 meters over there, hiding with about 4 barrels of explosives that are buried under the ground, 2 feet underneath him."
Can Wilhelm hear that?
No.
Perfect.
Got him right in my sights. That Aarakocra won't know what hit him.
Bale says, yeah, you think I'd leave all the real stuff out in the open like this? It's all buried out there.
Idiots left all the real explosives right out in the open.
Listen, I know that you got this place surrounded. I know you got it protected. And I'm quite curious, to be honest, about what you're looking to blow up here. Is it your own men?
I think you might have misunderstood me. The explosives that none of these, they aren't the explosives. They're all out there. And he points to the fields and the hills.
Oh, they pointed over here. Just gonna...
One pull of this, little King of Westmar is gonna be gone. We'll be fine over here.
They don't know I'm here. Wonder if I can get closer.
What's our code word again? Oh, well, how about this? I remember. At this point, we gotta long live the king.
That's my cue to shoot the Aarakocra. Here we go.
Well, get your butt over here! And I yell out to you.
No, actually, Your Majesty, you might want to just stay right there.
Are you suggesting or threatening? I can't tell from this distance. I cannot see her face.
The Aarakocra flies out over, and he says, "Pretty good hider."
Thank you. I'm sure you had no idea.
I'm literally eagle-eyed.
Well, I'm literally incredibly good at hiding.
Yeah, you actually are, but I also rolled really well, so on my perception checks.
Let's just say we both won. You might think you won, but you'd only be half right.
I hope you understand how much blowback you're about to face for this.
I imagine quite a bit.
You best just stay right there.
Again, suggestion or threat?
See the ground you're standing on?
Yes, the tall grass where I hid expertly.
Points. See that?
Yeah.
He points to you see the thin thread weaving through the dirt, going back to the camp.
Well, now this seems like a terrible place to continue to stand, and I don't want to take your suggestion, and I would like to go join my friends.
The Birdman says, "Not happening. You take one step, and I'm gonna let Black Coffee know, and he's gonna blow you sky high."
We came to do business. My colleague here, Wilhelm II, is true in his words for the most part. We are hoping to reunite the forces of Westamar, and right now, if you were captured and brought in, then Geldstad would probably give you probably hang you for your misgivings in these parts. But I'm willing to offer you a chance to be a paid mercenary again. And you and your band can have all crimes against... You and your band can have all the crimes that you've committed wiped clean. You can join the armies of Westamar, the Ochtenwald Irregulars, fight for the Von Kessels, be paid, and we'll just forget that any villages here were ever raided.
The Aarakocra replies and says, "It's funny you think we'd be convinced by that."
What is it you want, then?
We already got what we want.
Well, you don't seem very well funded.
Not right now. The Aarakocra says, throw down your weapons.
Or what?
Did you want to live?
Yes.
Then throw down your weapons.
Question. If one of those pins is pulled, I know that I'm no demolitions expert, but that's a long line to go from there to here. How much time would I guess I have? Or there? Okay, I guess I can't ask you what my character would think, but
Give me an investigation check.
that's going to be a 29.
It's a very astute observation. As you look over this, you're correct. There's no way that, unless there was magic involved, it could not be instantaneous. It's going to take time for the fuse to reach you. The only question is the demolitions. If this guy's a demolitions expert, they know this, which means that what you're probably standing on is a cluster that is going to explode in a radius commensurate with the distance. Like, understand me? But that means you have a chance.
I have my crossbow out, and I'm like, listen here, friend. You let us enter, you let us keep talking, and there won't be any trouble. I wouldn't underestimate Rudy, myself, or Wrath, and what we're capable of.
Birdman says, if you're not going to come quietly, it's going to be one hell of a bang.
How far away am I? Like, how tall is the tower versus, like, where I am?
The tower is about 60 feet tall.
And we're about, I guess, what, 30 feet out?
Yeah.
Okay. Wrath. I turn to you and say, things can't blow up if we don't let them pull the fuses.
This is true.
Any way you can get me up there? And I, like, turned around and I'm kind of, like, talking to him so that way the others can hear me.
If you wish to parley with the true king, you must let him approach.
Give me a deception check.
I am the king of Westmore. 24.
All right, Joker. Put down whatever weapons you're carrying. And he gestures to the half-dragon and the bugbear, who are carrying heavy weapons and wearing heavier armor themselves, to grab you and bring you up.
Oh, go up?
Yeah.
Just him?
Yeah.
All right. I will go with you, knaves.
They grab you, Wrath. Ugh. And one puts their hand around each of your arms. Their hands are huge. They reach around your scrawny arms. They lift you up off the ground by your arms, like hoisting you up, right? And begin carrying you towards the staircase up the tower.
Rudy, I'm going up.
I can see that, Wrath. I'll be here.
Let us figure out a better way of...
Black Coffee points to the other two. You two, go get the other one. We'll figure out which one of these two is the actual king, and...
I knew it was convincing.
And...
I'm nailing it.
Then, we'll make sure that the right one gets sent to the queen.
The queen? There has been no queen in Westamar for
They're gonna come over towards
years.
Aha, now if they blow me up, they'll blow up their own people. Seems favor is on my side.
I yell up to Coffee and I say, "Wow, Bale, I knew you'd fallen from grace. I didn't think you'd fallen in the mud."
He thinks for a moment and says, "Not all of us were as lucky to have a family to go back to after all this was over, Rudy. If you know what's good for you, you just walk away right now."
Well, if you know anything about me, you know I can't do that. And you know what? I may have had a family to go back to, but you know, we all make our own destiny. We all make our own choices. We could have all ended up in any place, but based on our choices. I knew you were a coward for a long time, hiding behind your bombs. Didn't think you were this low, though. Working with the Queen of Thieves.
He says, "All right, Rudy, you made your choice. Shooter, roll for initiative." All right, what do we got for initiative?
15.
15 for Rudy?
26.
9.
Okay. Wilhelm, you see several of the archers cock their bows, and as Black Coffee finishes, "Remember, we need the king alive." And they all begin to, but your first act.
I'll show you an eagle eye. I'm going to use steady aim, and I'm going to fire at the Aarakocra with my crossbow with advantage.
Okay.
Ooh.
Critting.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. I have the math. Crossbow with sneak attack. All right. Hmm? $84 damage.
So you shoot the Aarakocra, like, have you, like, you just hear the, ah!
So as we're like, as we're having our little back and forth, and I see everybody cock there, and yeah, I aim right up at him as he's like circling overhead, and I line it up, check the wind, fire, and it just like
right in the heart.
Okay, yeah, right through his heart, and he just tumbles down and lands at my feet, and I twirl my crossbow, put it back down, and start walking.
As he lands on the ground, you see that several that attached to the Aarakocra were bombs, and there were little strings on their hand, like that when his body goes limp. There's the chink, 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 chink. Boom!
Do I have time to move at all?
Make a dexterity saving throw.
Uh-oh. Well,
You
no.
get something about Dex? Something?
I do. I'm gonna get a 25.
So you see this, and you have that moment of realization as sort of like the bombs sort of roll out from underneath their jacket from their wings, and like the tinking of the pins being pulled, and you just dive forward as the
Explosion behind me is yeah.
I think you killed it.
And as I stand up and brush myself off from the explosion, evasion means I take no damage.
Okay.
So,
However, you are in the explosive field, and some explosions just went off. So roll me a d6 to see if any of these got through the ground.
I get a 2.
Fortunately, they did not detonate the other bombs.
I stand up heroically,
Okay.
and I yell, "Stand down, Black Coffee!"
Anything else you'd like to do?
That was my bonus action. I'm going to move 30 feet.
Okay.
I'm guessing I'm around the edge of the board at that point.
Yeah. So, Rudy, you're actually going to get to act next as you see the other crossbows get cocked at you.
Oh, okay. Are there stairs
There are indeed.
inside? Okay.
Ooh.
And I also want to see if I notice on Black Coffee, he gestured to his vest. Are there any sort of like triggers or wires that I can notice?
There's wires everywhere. Enough that you suspect that there are redundant wires. So, without knowing exactly what he has wired up here, certainly you could cut wires that you see, but there's no guarantee without knowing the system that Black Coffee hasn't set up some sort of extra line somewhere.
Okay. And additionally, as I'm sweeping around, I notice the building over there. Does it look like they're guarding something?
No, that's just, it appears to be the one intact building that is beyond that is the least damaged.
Okay. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to I would like to try to good question. And it's 60 feet up, right?
That to the top of the tower.
Like the very top?
The very top. The balcony level is about 40 feet.
Shoot. Okay. Sorry, guys.
No.
Because, yeah, I was thinking about Misty stepping, but I can't get up there. For now, then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to magic missile Black Coffee.
Okay.
Specifically, I'm aiming for, like, the triggers. If I can.
Again, Black Coffee's enough of a kind of maniac that whatever he's built, there's no guarantee that there isn't some sort of backup. Like, and you know from Black Coffee's the type of person that would pack twice as many explosives as they ever needed. So you may disable something, but whether or not it will actually disable the thing that matters,
Yeah.
we're gonna roll like effectively. If you do want to try to take out his triggers,
Yeah.
it'll give you whenever he activates something, we'll roll a d6, and it might work, it might not.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's no guarantee that it will disable it. So I just want you to make that choice with the knowledge that it's not it gives you the chance, but not necessarily a sure thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then what I'm gonna do for now is I'm gonna try to take on the guys. I'm just gonna rush towards the guys near Wrath and try to help them out.
Let go of me! I am the king!
And I'm actually going to use my action to cast Enlarge Reduce on myself. So enlarge.
Big Rudy!
Big Rudy! And then I'm going to action surge to take some shots, some axe wielding
All right.
pieces. And I get 3 attacks.
Would you like to attack the bugbear, the dragonborn, or the orc?
The bugbear seems right beside me. To my right?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, that one. 20 to hit.
It's a hit.
22 damage.
Oof.
second. 22 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
With 25 damage.
Alrighty, that cuts him down.
Ooh.
And then
Which one was that?
this one over here. And then I'm gonna move.
That was the Dragonborn.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And then I'm not based with this one, right? Yeah, I'll turn to him and do the last. 23 to hit for 26 damage.
That leaves them bloodied.
Ooh. Nice, Rudy.
And I say, if it's a fight you want, the Red Huntsman has come.
Alrighty. You hear Black Coffee say, "Don't fight her, shoot her!" And the various crossbow-wielding ones here, the lizard folk, the dark elf, the other bugbear, the other half-orc, and the gnomes are all going to pepper Rudy with crossbow shots.
Use shield, right? Because I used enlarge reducer now.
Sorry? Shield is a reaction.
Yeah, it's a reaction.
Yeah?
You haven't used
Okay.
a reaction yet.
So there are a total of 12 shots. I don't think any of those are going to hit. I do get a 21 and a 24 from 2 hits. And two 24s, a 21 and a 20 are the highest.
I'm going to use a shield to negate 2 of those.
Okay, so you'll get hit twice then. So the 2 hits that do come in are going to be, you are adjacent to one of their allies, so they will get their sneak attack bonus on you. So the 2 sneaks that do go through are going to be 20 damage plus another 10 damage from just the bolts themselves. So 30 in total.
Oh, that's
You hear me
scary.
howl out.
Yeah.
And yeah, the shield holds up, but 2 of them still penetrate through the magic of the shield and manage to strike you in the torso.
I growl and big Rudy.
Then we go to Coffee. Coffee themselves takes out their blunderbuss, and you see them kind of pack in like shards of metal and glass into it and light this weird projectile on fire. And basically it has the effect of multiple shots coming in all at once. And so the shot comes down as 3 attacks at you, Rudy. Now your shield would still be in effect.
Yes.
Still. But I do get a 24, an 18, and a 21.
23 is to hit.
Okay, so I do get one hit in. Okay, so the blunderbuss shot is going to end up dealing a total of 26 fire damage to you. And then you see you see Black Coffee reaches across their vest and pulls one trigger, another trigger, and another trigger, and you see several of these fuses start racing down the tower in like a spiral pattern, and they start colliding with several other triggers as well, and they split again partway down the tower. So you see now a bunch of fiery sparks making their way down the tower and starting to split out in different directions. So the countdown is on.
Is there, Can we mark where they are?
Where the actual sparks are?
Yeah.
At this, yeah, we can.
Because we can cut fuses.
There's a chance. There's always a chance.
That's what I was thinking. I might even be able to pinpoint, like, shoot one that's heading towards either me or you guys. Good job, Raph. You're doing great.
Yeah, I think I'm nailing it. I've been
You
practicing.
mean Wilhelm?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, lost character there for a minute. I am Wilhelm,
Did you put 2 of those?
future king of Westamar.
Just like,
Yep, just around. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So those are the current locations of the fuses that are lit. Okay? Cool. Wrath, it is your turn.
As Rudy howls out, I look around to the trained archers and the half orcs and I yell, the Red Huntsman will not be satiated until all your blood is spilled. Lay down your arms and run if you value your lives. And I cast Mass Suggestion.
Ooh. All right, so I got to make a bunch of saving throws, eh?
12 creatures. I'm going to do I'll let you decide.
60-foot range, so you'll need to tell me which ones you want to do.
So, like, everybody on the tower.
Okay, including black coffee?
Yeah. Okay. The guy holding me. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The one that's beside Rudy, 6. These 2 big boys, 7, 8. 9, 10 in the tower. And then these ones are over here, right? Yeah. 2 of those.
Okay, so black. What's the DC?
DC 20.
Okay, black coffee succeeds. But the ogres. So the one, oh wow. But unfortunately, they have a penalty. All the ogres fail their saving throws. I have 3 archers in the tower.
Yeah, 3 and then black coffee.
1 succeeds, the bugbear.
Right beside him.
On my side, you can't quite see. Then there's the 2, so that's 6 done. So sorry, that's 7 including black coffee.
Yeah.
Right, and then there's the 2 that are beside you. Oh wow! So the one holding you succeeds, but the one fighting Rudy, who's bloodied, fails. So that's 9. And then you've got
These 2 in the tower.
and then one of them.
And then, yeah.
What was the DC again?
20.
20? Okay. Those 2 both fail. And another failure over there. So, so a whole bunch of them just immediately a look of terror and they drop their weapons. And so is there anything else you'd like to do?
At this point, no. That's it. Okay. Because the one that holding me is still holding me.
Yeah.
So I let him continue to hold me.
Alrighty. Well,
I let him.
So
I'm letting him.
the ogres drop their weapons and begin running away. And the one of the archers have already acted, but the other melee soldiers. Yeah, I'll run this way. So the little gnome, she runs away with pink hair. But the other, the tabaxi and the other halfling and those 3, they're gonna charge Rudy.
Okay. And this guy runs. He's like,
he's
like,
yeah.
so that's an opportunity attack.
Yeah.
or no, because
they're frightened.
shielded.
Yeah, he's
Oh, yeah,
gonna
I feel
disengage.
that,
Yeah.
Right.
But they're gonna come in for the fight. All right, the one that has apprehended you, Wrath, is gonna attack you twice.
No.
He's like, shut up, and just punches you with his gauntleted fist, getting a 20 and a 19 to hit. So he punches you in the face twice.
My other eye!
And That's going to be 2 hits for 20 damage total.
Ouch.
Rudy, you get surrounded by a group of these rogues. Each of them has 2 attacks.
I'm still shielded.
You're still shielded, so I got to get 23, eh?
23.
Okay.
Plus 5.
Well, fortunately, I do have pack tactics, so I'm going to get advantage. That's still a miss. A crit.
Oh.
So 1 crit, 1 miss, 2 misses, but they have 2 attacks each. So that's going to be a miss. That is 21, which is still not high enough. And another crit.
Woo.
So 2 sneak attack crits.
Woo!
Rudy, I tried. You leave her alone.
So the first one is going to be a grand total of 10, 20, 33 damage on the first crit. And the second crit is going to be 20, 30, 36 damage on the second. So little 3d6s turn into...
Yeah, they hurt. They hurt.
So basically, these 3 be like, we're not afraid, and they come up as a gang around you, swirl around, and find their way through your shields, and bring their blades down across your back.
Oh!
Yeah, keep it going. It's the fear. Drive the fear into them.
And with that, we go to the top with Wilhelm.
Wilhelm is going to approach, and I'm going to start by calling out to Black Coffee. I count 2 dead and your people flee. Now's the time for negotiations. This is your final chance.
And Black Coffee replies, "You're already dead, Your Majesty."
Can I quickly, the fuses that are lit, are any of them heading in my direction?
If you want to use an action to make an investigation check, I can tell you that.
No. I'm going to instead use my cunning action to dash and climb up onto the stairs. Am I? You know what? No, I am going to use my action to investigate the fuses to see if any are heading
Okay.
towards me.
Okay.
I'm going to get a 25.
Okay. What you realize is that this entire camp is surrounded. It's a cage. If any of these fuses make it to the edge of the battle map, they'll set off a chain reaction of the buried explosives out on the edge, and that will be fatal.
To everybody?
Yes.
Oh boy. I'm going to, that was my action, so I'm going to bonus action dash, and I'm going to get out my dagger and start getting ready to cut some fuses.
Okay. Rudy, it's your turn.
What am I gonna do? I am going to...
I'm going to yell out, cut
Oh,
the
actually,
fuses.
In that case, it's time for the fuses to move.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Okay, so I have 6 fuses that are still active, correct?
Yes.
Okay, well, what we will simply do is this. Somebody roll me 86.
Get it, Wilhelm.
How's a 2?
Okay, move one of the fuses Roll me another.
Am I doing all of them?
Yeah, you should keep going, keep going.
3.
And another.
6.
Okay. And another.
2.
Okay, choose good, choose good.
And another.
What we've learned,
3.
like on the other side of the rock.
And the last one?
Yep.
4.
There you go. Did you roll any ones? Or, and we did roll a 6?
I did roll 6, yeah.
Okay.
It's this one.
Alrighty. So with the with that, there you go.
Well, then I probably would have ran
To there.
to
Cool.
Yep.
past the bugbear or is that the bugbear or half?
Well, no, the fuses moved after you. They move on initiative count 20.
Well, still, I probably wouldn't run past a moving fuse. So if I
Okay,
was
I'll allow it. It's Rudy's turn though.
I am. So there's a fuse beside me.
Yeah.
Oh, I might regret this, but I am going to use my bonus action to second wind. And that gives me some hit points back. Oh, great. About 20 hit points back. And I am going to cast Warding... Okay, tell me if this makes sense. Makes sense in my mind. Warding Wind, it creates a 10-foot radius that moves with me of wind. It extinguishes unprotected flames that are around me.
Okay.
So the idea is that if this thing's on fire, it like blows it out.
Okay. What's the radius of warding wind?
10 feet.
Okay. So if you cast it, I think that fuse immediately goes out.
Wow.
Okay. And
one gone, 5 to go.
And it, because yeah, enlarge reduce, I assume I got hit a lot. I didn't roll for it, but that it was out. Warding Wind, it deafens me and other creatures, extinguishes the flames, it causes difficult terrain for them, and attack rolls with the ranged weapons have disadvantage.
Nice. Nice.
And there's 3 of them against me, right?
Yeah.
Can I see how far this other one is over here?
That fuse is right there.
Is this a fuse?
No.
Okay.
That's the
I
one
was like,
you defuse.
How far away is it right now?
About 40 feet from you.
40. Darn. Okay. I'm gonna go after it.
Okay. It'll provoke opportunity attacks, but yeah, you would actually be able to move so that the warding wind cover puts out 2 fuses.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the goal.
So I do get 3 opportunity attacks.
And I think I yell as I'm running, as they're kind of trying to hit me. Is that like, I could kill you now, or this whole thing's gonna blow, and we're all gonna die.
She's right.
She is right.
She's right.
Make an intimidation check.
13.
Black Coffee says, "Don't you boys worry. I got a plan for that."
What's your plan? Tell us your plan.
And then, Rudy, I do make the opportunity attack. So the first one misses, even with the advantage. Second one, I get a 23 to hit.
Yeah. I guess I haven't taken my No, that one didn't work anyways.
Third one does miss, but I do get 1 hit on the sneak attack. So that's going to be 14 damage. But you do put out 2 fuses.
Worth it.
2 more fuses out. 3 to go.
Black Coffee's turn. He says, Black Coffee pulls out a satchel. And inside the satchel, he shows them. Yeah, here's the plan. Takes a vial out of the satchels. They're a lightly colored vial that looks like it's got a feather in it. Says, any of y'all that want to live, you better come up here and drink one of these so you can fly on out of here. But I'm off myself. And he puts the satchel down with the 6 potions. And then he himself leaps off the balcony and he clicks his heels and wings come out of his boots.
Hey.
And he flies. And as he does so, you hear this chink, 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 as the last connections that were on him disconnect, and 4 more fuses light up. And we're gonna say that he's like flying way up.
Okay, how high off the ground is he now?
He's like 120 feet off the air. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Black Coffee releases 4 more fuses, drops the satchel of, and he's like, "Any of you boys that want to live, the 60 there's any of you that survive, we'll split the payout equally."
Whose turn is it?
It is the archer's turn. So
They're all fleeing though still.
Most of
Or
them.
some
All
of
of them, yeah.
not all of them. So several of them are running away. But this guy, they actually, this is their first chance to run.
Yeah.
Now that they've had that. So actually, what's going to happen is the 3 archers that are on the balcony each take 1 of the potions immediately, leaving only 3 potions left. And they begin flying off.
Well, 3 potions.
Grab what magic do you have?
I can't make ores. I don't think ores are gonna help.
Has the sun started to set yet?
No, it hasn't yet. And so seeing this happening, the ones that were affected by the mass suggestion, they're running. They're gonna now hope that they can outrun the fuses, and probably they won't. And so seeing this, the three rogues that were after Rudy, they're like, we're not dying here, and they immediately rush towards the tower. And so they're going to be in the ground floor of the tower, running past Wrath, with that. And then the 2 archers over here are going to also make a run for it, but as they jump down, they're going to take some pot shots at Rudy. Actually getting an 18 and a 19 to hit.
Arranged though?
Yeah, range shots.
It has disadvantage.
Oh, in that case, they both miss.
Nice.
It's just the wind.
Yeah. And so Wrath, it is now your turn.
So I'm gonna look up, and Black Coffee is 120 feet in the air.
Yeah.
I cast Hypnotic Pattern. So I look up into the sky, and I just wave a dazzling set of lights in front of him.
That would also catch the other 3 that drank the potions of flying.
DC 20, Wisdom save. 12. So he becomes incapacitated. His speed is 0. Does the boots allow him to hover?
Boots of flying don't allow you to hover. I don't think they do.
Sorry, Black Coffee.
Oh no.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
It's a good move.
We want him alive, but I got it. I got it.
I'll save him.
Don't worry, I know how to speak with the dead.
So Black Coffee and the others that drank the potions all fail their saving throws. So the other two... So 120 feet is 12d6 falling damage. Do you want to roll that for Black Coffee?
Yes. This will feel good.
They hit the ground in that turn.
I think you fall 500.
500 feet immediately.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Do you hit some d6s?
I need 3d6s.
No one has feather fall, do they?
Not bad. 49.
Okay. So Black Coffee falls. And as Black Coffee falls, he hits his neck on the railing of the balcony and there's a wet snapping noise. And then he hits the ground. And the other ones meet a similar fate.
I am the king! No one runs away from King Wilhelm!
And he just kind of twitches on the ground for a moment.
Oh.
Is he absolutely dead?
Necks don't bend that way.
Will a potion help? Will ointment help? Oh, God.
I fixed it. I fixed everything. He was gonna get away. If he got away, he was gonna tell the queen. You're welcome, everyone.
Are we just getting out of here?
Whose turn is it?
Is there anything else you'd like to do, Wrath?
Let me just look into my actions here. I think I've done enough. I see the rest of it.
Okay, the ogres run away, and we're back up to Wilhelm.
Wow.
Wilhelm, I have stopped the invasion. Black Coffee from escaping.
I'm going to bonus action dash. I'm going to run up these rocks, using my boots of spider climbing, climb the tower, grab the 3 potions, and now we have the potions to fly.
I can fly us out of here.
The Black Coffee twitching corpse, the wings still flutter on his boots.
Someone grab those boots.
I toss one of the potions to Rudy, and I'm like, Rudy, can you carry Black Coffee?
Can I fly him to carry him?
Yes.
If I cast...
Because you're also enlarged.
No, I'm not anymore, but if I enlarge myself
yeah,
again, can I carry
Sure.
him out? Okay. I will use my spell slot to do that.
So that's, bonus action I got up there. Can I use
We still have those other ones, right? That they're after us. Like there's 5.
There's a few other people that are rushing for the
They
potions.
want those potions too.
can I toss one to Rudy? Like, does that work?
It's pretty far, and if Rudy doesn't catch it, it will break.
Well, I'll just hold on to them then for a second. But I grab the 3 potions. Is grabbing them an action?
No, you can pick up the potions as your object interaction.
Then
It's just if you wanted to drink one, that would be an action.
I guess all bets are off for leaving anybody alive at this point. So I'm gonna just shoot at the one holding Wrath.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's gonna be an 18.
It's a hit, and it will count as a sneak attack because Wrath is next to him.
The sneak.
What's it like shooting someone that's holding yourself?
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like looking in a mirror. 24 damage.
Okay, that does leave him bloodied.
Cool.
I mean, hold on. I got it.
Psycho.
They didn't need to fall that quickly.
I was gonna try to catch him. That was my thing.
Yeah, I was
Can
gonna.
I catch him?
Oh. You changed trajectory. We gotta just let him hit the ground. We'll figure it out after. We know lots of people. It's fine.
Operation Get the Octenwald Irregulars back together is going swimmingly.
I'll explain after. Not that I have to explain anything to you, mortals.
I have an idea.
Who's
It's Rudy's turn.
So I still have my warding wind. If I dash, then use Misty Step to get to the other ones, do you think I can put all of them out this turn?
Oh, interesting.
There's 1, 2. Oh god.
Oh no! I'm like, I think we could still put some out.
I think we can stop it.
Yeah, that's what I want to try to do. I want to try to use dash
Okay.
to.
Use this for your movement.
Nice.
Okay, so I can get, and it's 10 feet, so I don't have to necessarily.
Yeah.
If I go 60, that should get all of that, right?
Yeah, that would get all those. There would still be 2 left. 3 left.
3 left. That one's pretty close, so
I can get it, or Wrath can
I can
it.
get.
I yell, I say, "Get that fuse down there!" And then I'm gonna Misty Step by the. Can I make that 30? I think that's more than 30 feet. I'm gonna chase these ones.
I think with dashing and Misty Step, I think that's fair.
Okay.
Nice. So that's this one.
Are you getting this one as well?
No.
No.
And I just, as I'm rushing by, I say,
Oh, that one was bloodied.
"Coffee may have abandoned these folks, but I don't think they all deserve to die today." And that's what I'm doing.
Cool.
Cool.
Okay. The archers, there's, I think, only 2 of them left. They're gonna run right by you, Wrath, and they're gonna start muscling in over the stairs. And all of a sudden, all of them start fighting each other, because they know that only 3 people can get out of this, and they're like, "Everyone for yourselves!" And so in the process, actually one of the 3 rogues is killed.
Oh no.
Oh, the little halfling.
Ogres are still running. Coffee's dead. Wrath, it's your turn.
Everything affected by hypnotic pattern is dead now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't need to keep concentrating on that. The closest one is the one at their feet. Is after getting shot, is he still holding me?
No.
He's made a run either for it or for upstairs. I'm gonna attempt to put out the closest one
Okay.
to me,
Alrighty.
and I just want to like kick the sand around it.
Yep.
Is that my action?
It is. Roll me a d6.
Oh. 4.
Okay, you put it out.
Okay. So I use my action to like scurry the ground around it and just try to disable this the fuse below me.
Okay.
That's my turn.
Yeah. That brings us to the top of the round with Wilhelm.
I'm going to steady aim and try to shoot the wire of the last
All right.
head of the fuse.
I'm gonna give Nacy a 20.
I'm going to get a 20.
And with that, the last fuse is put out.
And as I shoot and it stops, I yell down, "Stop fighting each other, you're safe!"
The 2 of them look up from the slit throat of their former companion. Oh. And on that note, that's where we'll end for this evening.
I stopped it. I saved us. I saved us.
We had many ways.
Also, check out these cool boots I have. Oh, sweet, perfect size.
Wait, is it seriously like boots are flying now?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just checking them out.
You killed the guy we wanted to save, and you stole his boots.
You guys make me out to be the bad guy. This guy was literally going to explode everyone, including his mercenary friends. Like, as grim as my choice was, he made much worse choices. You wanted him on your team? You wanted this guy, Scorched Earth, over here?
You raise a valid point, I suppose.
I make a very valid point. Plus, did you see his boots?
Listen, he may have his flaws.
Well, no, he doesn't.
No, don't worry. We'll have the interrogation. I can still speak with the dead, okay? We can still have our interrogation. We can find out what he knows. And if he's worth resurrecting.
Who's going to resurrect him?
I don't know.
We're not using our scroll on it.
No, I guess who's the bad guy now? Making choices like life and death. Just like that. I didn't think it would work, but I'm really happy that it did.
What I'm feeling is we're not going to convince the Octobottom regulars. They're going to hear this story and fear us, and that's how we'll convince them.
That's how we convince them,
Through fear.
Rudy.
I love it.
We took care of the
Not
bandit.
through the olive branch, but through the tip of the sword. Yes. We take what we need. Wilhelm, you must be feared upon.
Oh my God. Look at him.
Look at you. I'm you. This is you. You did this.
And scene.
A massive thank you to our amazing cast, Jill, Kelly, and Joe, for playing tonight.
A huge thank you to Kyle for laughing off camera continuously. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
And a huge thank you to our Dungeon Master, Monty, who really probably planned on Black Coffee getting away or for an aerial chase sequence to occur. But no, we're not doing that. We don't do that here. So thank you, Monty, for running such a good game.
In our game tonight, we get to use a variety of incredible assets produced by talented artists. They've graciously given us permission to use them in our tabletop games, and we encourage you to use them in your own games and go out and support some of these amazing creators. Dwarven Forge.
Actually, it is 3D printed terrain. The buildings are 3D printed terrain from 3D printed tabletop.
Ooh.
And the trees are by Dwarven Forge.
So we have trees by Dwarven Forge and 3D printed terrain. Monty, you made these.
Yeah, I printed them on my FDM Ender printer and painted them.
Very high quality, beautiful. Miniatures by WizKids and Hero Forge. So if you want to check it out, do it.
Of course, don't forget to look at the links below for our Teespring store. You can find all of your favorite Dungeon Dudes t-shirts. Check out bit.ly/Dungeon Dudes merch.
Our videos and live streams are made possible thanks to the generous support of our Patreon community. If you enjoy our work, please consider becoming a patron of our show. You can find it by following the links below or at patreon.com/dungeon_dudes.
We also have a phenomenal Discord community, which is exclusive for our patrons. You can come there to talk to us about all things D&D, TTRPG, really any nerdy topic you feel like talking to us about. There's private channels for you to ask the Dungeon Dudes questions. And we do monthly writers' rooms. We do Q&As, and occasionally we do homebrew workshops as well. All of that is included when you join our Discord.
And we got new videos coming on YouTube every other Tuesday and every Thursday. So check that out, youtube.com/dungeondudes.
And be sure to check out the stream next Tuesday when we air it on Twitch. You can check us out from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/dungeon_dudes. You can also watch the video episodes of the show on YouTube or check us out as an audio-only podcast.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time when we decide the fate of Drakkenheim.